Okay, number 33, we're crossing out. We're not doing that one. There will be a fault line proof, though, on your summative, so go ahead and look over that stuff. And our last proof, number 34, we are given that BC is congruent to DC and AC is congruent to EC, and we are trying to prove that two parts in those triangles are congruent. So my first step here, we're going to go ahead and say is my given. Second step here, we're proving things to be congruent, not similar, so I need triangle congruencies. Now we can see right here that those two angles that I just marked are going to be congruent because they are vertical angles, but the tricky part is labeling them. So go ahead and pause this video and double check to see if the way that you're labeling them is correct. Okay, so I went ahead and started with my top left angle there, BCA. But BC is congruent to DC, so I need to start with angle D in my second. So I'm going to go D, C again in the middle, and E. These positions mean that these angles are congruent. So C is congruent to C, B is congruent to D, and A is congruent to E. If we were talking about triangle congruencies, but this is just this angle right here that is marked. So I know that those are congruent because vertical angles are congruent. Then I can go ahead and say that these two triangles are congruent because I have two sides at an angle and the angles in between, so that would be side angle, side. But we are not done quite yet. I need to prove that angle B is congruent to angle D. But since I know that these two triangles are congruent, we can say that angle B is congruent to angle D because of CPC TC. Congruent parts of congruent triangles are congruent. That's what that stands for. Congruent parts, congruent triangles are congruent. Okay? Hopefully this helps. Please feel free to come in and get some extra help if you're struggling with the proofs.